The South Korean authorities have extended the closure of a southwestern airport where a Jeju airplane crashed and killed 179 people on board. The Ministry of Land, Infrastructure and Transport said on January 6. The authorities are still probing the cause of the accident, which took place on December 29 when Jeju Air Flight 2216 from Thailand carrying 181 people on board belly landed in a South Korean airport and slammed into a concrete barrier in a fireball. 2 crew members were rescued. The closure of Yeol International Airport has been extended until January 14. The ministry said in a statement to AFP on January 6. The ministry did not specify the reason, but in a briefing last week, Deputy Minister for Civil Aviation Ju Jongwon said that, if the investigation gets longer, the period of closure is susceptible to change. Acting Interior Minister Ko Ki-dong said the bodies of the 179 people killed would all be returned to the families on January 6. Today, the process of handing over the victims to families is expected to be completed, he told a government meeting on January 6. The return will allow families to hold funerals for their loved ones after a week-long wait. South Korean and U.S. investigators, including from the aircraft's manufacturer Boeing, have been combing the crash site in Yeol since the disaster. The exact cause of the Boeing 737-800 crash is still unknown, but investigators have pointed to a bird strike, faulty landing gear, and the runway barrier as possible issues. The pilot warned of a bird strike before pulling out of a first landing, and then crashing on a second attempt when the landing gear did not emerge. The authorities this week carried out search and seizure operations at Yeol Airport, a regional aviation office in the southwestern city, and Jeju Air's office in the capital Seoul, police said. The plane was largely carrying South Korean holidaymakers back from year-end trips to Bangkok, except for 2 Thai passengers. The incident prompted a national outpouring of mourning, with memorials set up across the country. The chief of security for South Korean President Yoon Suk Yeol said on Sunday he could not cooperate with efforts to arrest the impeached leader, in remarks that could push the political crisis towards another high-stakes confrontation. With a warrant for Yoon's arrest on grounds of insurrection set to expire at midnight on Monday, the official, Park Chung-jun, cited the legal debate surrounding the warrant as the reason for the lack of cooperation. Please refrain from insulting remarks that the Presidential Security Service has been reduced to a private army, he said in a statement, adding that it had provided security to all presidents for 60 years, regardless of political affiliation. The comments came after a Seoul court rejected a complaint from Yoon's lawyers that the arrest warrant was illegal and invalid. The Yonhap news agency said. Telephone calls to the court to seek comment went unanswered. Judging the legitimacy of any legal interpretation and execution is difficult, Suk Dong-hyun, a lawyer advising Yoon, said on Facebook. If there is an error in the legality of law enforcement against the incumbent president, it will be a big problem. Yoon became the first incumbent South Korean president to face arrest for his botched attempt to declare martial law on December 3, which triggered political chaos in Asia's 4th largest economy and a key U.S. ally. The conservative president was impeached by Parliament and is suspended from official duties while the Constitutional Court decides whether to reinstate or remove him. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken was set to arrive in Seoul on Sunday for talks with senior officials. On Friday, Yoon's Presidential Security Service and military troops had blocked criminal investigators from arresting him in a 6-hour standoff. In Sunday's statement, Park dismissed as preposterous an accusation by the main opposition Democratic Party that he had ordered presidential security officers to use live ammunition if they got caught short in Friday's standoff. Yoon's lawyers have said the warrant was unconstitutional because the anti-graft force leading his criminal investigation has no authority under South Korean law to investigate any case involving insurrection accusations. In a statement on Sunday, the lawyers threatened to report to prosecutors Oh Dong-woon, the chief of the Corruption Investigation Office for High-Ranking Officials, CIO, and the investigators for what they called an illegal effort to execute the warrant. In the absence of authority to do so, the CIO did not immediately respond to a request for comment. Rallies in heavy snow. The dispute over the warrant came against a backdrop of demonstrations by thousands of protesters near Yoon's official residence amid heavy snow in the capital, Seoul, with some rallies demanding his arrest, and others opposing it. "We have to re-establish the foundation of our society by punishing the president who has denied the Constitution," said Yeon Kyung-soo, leader of the Korean Confederation of Trade Unions (KCTU), a major labor group that joined the protests. "We must bring down the criminal Yoon Suk-yeol and arrest and detain him as soon as possible." Security officials installed barbed wire inside the compound and set up barricades with buses on Saturday, Yonhap said. Nearby, Yoon supporters held placards reading, "We will fight for President Yoon Suk-yeol," and "Stop the steal," a phrase popularized by U.S. President-elect Donald Trump's supporters after he lost the 2020 election. Some protesters had gathered overnight in downtown Seoul, where temperatures fell below -5 degrees Celsius, 23 degrees Fahrenheit. More than 6 centimeters, 2.4 inches, of snow has piled up in some areas, prompting a warning. Similar rallies on Saturday saw police detain 2 protesters accused of assaulting police officers, Yonhap said. That day, the CIO again asked acting President Choi Sang-mak, the finance minister, to order the security service to comply with the arrest warrant. A finance ministry spokesperson declined to comment. In a statement on Sunday, the ministry said Choi urged authorities to make sure no one was hurt by efforts to enforce the law.